Hey guys, welcome to another episode of SISATIONal.
Welcome back.
Thanks
I'm
for
clapping,
joining us.
but I don't want to clap in the mic because it would.
Well, you can clap.
Can I? Okay.
That was pathetic.
That was really sad. Oh my god. I didn't want to hit the mic and mess something up.
That's fine.
It's fine. Okay. Oh my god. How are you, babe?
I'm here. I'm happy that you're here.
I'm happy to be here.
And we've got a candle going right now.
It's such a nice vibe.
It smells so good.
It does. You got it for like what? $5 at Target?
10.
Oh,
11.
it was 10?
But
11. 15.
35. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it's not like $30 like Bath and Body Works. Like you still get a deal.
Exactly. Yeah, it's from Target, and my God, is it hauling ass for us?
The candles.
It is taking care of business for
Yeah,
us.
it's helping all our stress. It was worth
It was worth the
every
$11.
dollar. The $11.
Yeah, we went to Target and we were both surprised at what we could get for $30.
It was amazing.
Compared to like other things.
We got 3 candles for the price of one at Bath and Body Works. Sorry, this is really bad. If we ever want them
get
to be a
sponsored?
sponsor, I love Bath and Body Works. I do. I love them.
Do you?
I do. They're just pricey, and we got
Yeah.
a deal, and that's like exciting.
We did. And I actually have like one of those little coupon things that I can redeem for like a free $16
At Bath and Body.
at Bath and Body
Are you
Works.
serious?
I am serious.
It's still sitting here. You haven't used it yet.
I haven't. So maybe tomorrow we should go.
Yes. Oh my god, you have a coupon for $16 candle?
I do.
For free?
Yes. I know. I'm
Oh my
sorry.
god, how did you get that?
From spending too much.
Hey, we're concerned about your bank account. We feel sorry for you. Here's a
no,
coupon.
it's called being a loyal customer.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I'm trying to think of a good segue.
Oh, there's not. We're talking
not.
about 5, like, okay.
It's not 5.
Oh, it's
like
not?
10.
How many is it?
It's like 10 or more.
So the title says 5 underrated kids movies, but it's really 10.
It's really like
So like
10 was-
15.
It's like, yeah, it's several underrated kids movies that
From our childhood.
From our childhood. Well, sort of. One of them isn't from your
Oh,
childhood.
yeah. One of them I saw in my adulthood, but would have liked to have seen as a child if it existed then. It's underrated. Either way, the theme is 10 underrated kids movies,
It might be more than 10, but
in our opinion.
just ignore it.
Yeah, ignore that.
The first one we wanted to talk about was Barbie movies, actually.
Barbie. And the first thing I think of is that Facebook group you're a part of.
Yeah, so there's a actually, I think it's my friend Phoebe. Shout out to Phoebes. She turned me on to this Facebook group on Facebook. Yeah, really, I just said that. Facebook group on Facebook, but it's all about these Barbie movies. A lot of them started gaining popularity in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And they are so underrated.
They are. They are really underrated. Like, I feel sorry for the kids.
I feel sorry for the kids.
Of this age who haven't seen them. Like anybody who's 3 or 4 right now, like it's sad.
Your life is ruined if you haven't seen it.
Well, I mean, I gotta be honest. I don't think kids' movies are that good now. Like I see commercials for them. I'm like, okay, like I'm not gonna watch that. Like I have no interest at all.
Well, it is for kids.
Yeah, but like even as an adult, you can kind of see the appeal. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. It doesn't appeal to the child in you.
Right.
Okay.
Right. It's just kind of like, wow, that's garbage. Like it just.
They got to work on their fucking marketing, it seems like.
I feel like they're running out of ideas.
That's probably true. There's also been so many remakes of the same story. I want to see more original movies being made. I'm tired of seeing the same things. I'm tired of seeing Disney redo the same movie like 3 times.
Oh my God.
I think there's supposed to be another Cinderella. Like that's what I'm saying. I mean, I could be wrong, but no, I'm serious. I'm like, the 2015 one was great. Can we just leave it alone?
Why would they do another one? That one was great. That's underrated.
I know. Or maybe I'm thinking about the one that already came out with Camila Cabello. How do you say her name?
Oh, wait.
Wasn't that a Cinderella?
Did Disney do that?
I don't think it was Disney.
Did Disney?
I don't think it was Disney. But I'm just saying, like, can we have another type of story?
Please stop.
For the love of all
Everyone
things.
knows Cinderella.
Everyone's been very intimate with the Cinderella story.
Oh my God. Do you know that the only reason why like Disney has such a random like assortment of movies, it's like Cinderella and like all these random princess movies, and it's because they were public domain stories.
Right.
So they didn't really come up, I mean, they kind of tweaked them but they were based on books that were public domain.
That makes sense.
Everything doesn't feel cohesive with Disney because of all the random...
Right. They were just trying to find whatever stories they could have the rights to.
Right.
Whereas now they just buy everything to get the rights to it. Right, they have
money, but they started...
But the music of these Disney movies, that became like such a thing on its own. And you see that with Broadway now.
Yeah.
We have Lion King, which is totally 100% a Disney movie.
Yeah.
That came to fucking Broadway. But again, like that's based on one of the Shakespearean stories.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did Alan Menken do the music for it?
No, not for Lion King.
No, okay. Who did Lion King?
Hans Zimmer.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So anyways, Barbie movies.
Barbie movies.
Totally underrated. And the one specifically that we liked the most was the Rapunzel one.
Yeah.
And then the Princess and the Pauper one.
Yes. Did you have a favorite between the two?
I think I low-key prefer the Rapunzel one. Because that was the first one. I think that was the first Barbie movie we ever
saw.
It broke our Barbie cherry.
Oh my God.
Popped our Barbie cherry.
No. Like, yeah, that probably was the first one because I thought Princess and the Pauper came out while we were alive and we saw like the commercial for it. I mean, like, it wasn't something from 1990 that we saw.
No, but neither was Rapunzel. I think that was still the early 2000s. I think the only one that was from the 90s was the Nutcracker one we would see commercials for on the VHS.
Oh.
That came out in the late 90s, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some Barbie movies we haven't seen. Like, I haven't seen that one, I don't think.
Rapunzel one was the first movie that we had ever seen that was a Barbie movie.
Right. First movie we ever saw. Well, I mean, it might have. I mean, I don't know the first movie I ever saw.
That's a good point.
Touche.
But the first Barbie movie, and then the Princess and the Pauper was like soon after. It was like around the same time.
Didn't that come out like while we... That came out probably like 2000... Let me look it up.
Yeah. I don't know exactly when, but we were alive and well.
Okay, September 28th, 2004.
2004?
2004. Lots of good movies came out in 2004. Well, kids' movies. I feel like our generation had the best PC games.
Yeah.
Like for kids and good kids' movies.
I feel like there was more quality put into some of these kids' movies. That's the thing that surprised me about the Barbie movies, too, is the music's really good. Like,
so good.
Super good. And the composer, actually, I believe, is one of the people from Mannheim Steamroller, who's they're known for the Christmas...
Yes.
Different kind of Christmas music. And I mean, that's what I fell in love with a lot with the Barbie movies. Because I didn't play with Barbies much. I played a little bit with them.
Yeah.
But I really loved, like, the music was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, we would play Barbies sometimes, but it was more like...
But we were aggressive with them.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't that aggressive. It was one of our other siblings who was really aggressive with them.
I thought you chewed their feet off.
Okay. Okay.
Because that's aggressive. You know what I'm saying? If you're chewing feet off.
You're not wrong. I'm sorry, Ken. I'll never be able to live that down. But this is the thing.
I mean, his foot was mauled, guys. Like, they were, like, the man needed some disability money. Because, like...
I don't have a foot fetish, I promise. It was because I had issues with dairy, okay? I was allergic to dairy. Dairy messed me up. And I would eat weird stuff to cope. And one of those was Ken's foot. And I'm sorry, but that's what happened. I ate Ken's foot because of... Wow, maybe that's why I'm so messed up.
Well, I would consider that aggressive behavior towards a Barbie.
Yeah.
Just like
but
snacking
it's also
on
like
a leg.
3-year-old just trying to cope with her stomach problems. Oh my God. Oh.
So, yeah.
They were great. So your favorite was Rapunzel.
I think so.
Oh, that's tough. Like, I want to re-see them as an adult and then make a decision based off that.
What would your childhood self say?
Probably the Princess and the Pauper.
Yeah.
Because I loved the pink dress that the one wore and it was just so...
Yeah.
And the concept was kind of... I think this kind of stuck out to me as a kid, is that even though they looked so similar, like, their said boyfriends liked... They could see and notice the differences just in who they were and loved them for who they were as, like, people, even though they looked literally the same. So I think that kind of stuck to me. I don't know.
They cheapened the animation budget there.
Yeah, just like copy paste. Wow. But, like, you know what I mean?
I do. Yeah, it's like, it really is about personality in the end of the...
Yeah, in the end.
Because one of them was smart. The other one...
No, they both were smart.
They both were. I just remember the one was into science. The princess.
Yeah, the princess was science-y, and then was she? Oh yeah,
so.
because
her boyfriend was.
Yeah, he was into stars, or am I getting confused with Swan? Like,
yeah,
there's
I don't
too
remember.
much.
But they were underrated.
They were underrated. They were good. If you have a kid.
And, you know, I want the music for all those movies, the soundtracks, to be more available. They aren't right now. Like, they're hard to find, the music to it. So I just wish the soundtracks were released, like, for all the instrumentals, too. Because, I mean, it's some gorgeous stuff. Like, legit. It goes high.
Oh, yeah. Key change. If it's copyright free, we should play it like somewhere in the podcast.
Yeah.
That's pretty. It's beautiful.
Do you remember when we looked into the singer too? Who did it? We thought she was an adult.
When we listened
to
it,
she was a
kids.
child. Like the woman who does it's non-vocal.
Barbie Rapunzel.
For Barbie Rapunzel, the woman who did the like instrumental singing, kind of whatever you want to call that, vocalizations, right? She was a kid.
Yeah.
When she did it. And I was like, oh my God. Because the voice sounded so mature to us when we were children. But then when we listened to it as an adult and we were like, oh my God, you can hear
it's a kid.
The childlike quality in the voice.
It's crazy.
What other underrated movies do we have on the list?
Yeah. The next movie is Swan Princess. And this wasn't a Disney movie, not Barbie Swan Princess we're talking about. This is it's a whole other thing. It was like independent. And the music was so good. And it was like one of the first times I felt we were exposed to a female heroine figure. I mean, Barbie, yeah, but like, and it's not bad to be a damsel in distress, but it was like, that was such a common.
What about the character in Swan Princess was heroic to you?
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like we begin into some spoilers, but, this is the thing. This is what sets, I think, her apart a little bit too. Is that from the get-go, she kind of knows her worth. So they grow up together, this prince and the Swan Princess. And like everybody expects them to be married one day and love each other because it was just what was said for them. If she didn't want to hang out with him, she just didn't. He was pushing her away at some points and she just like kind of created her own, I don't know. She had her own identity and like not tied with him.
Yeah.
And it showed that process, which was cool. And then when they're adults and they're like, oh, there's feelings there. Oh, my God. There's this moment where he sees her, she sees him. And he said, I don't want to botch it, but he was like, you're so beautiful or something.
Something like that.
And she was like, what else? You know, basically like, what else, do you like about me?
Yeah.
And he literally says, what else is there? Ouch! So it was just like, and she got pissed.
Because they'd known each other their whole
lives. And that's all he had to say? Like, wow.
This isn't a fucking one-night stand. Like,
no.
what the hell? Like, yeah.
It's a kid's movie.
But, every girl would want to hear, oh, I'm beautiful. Every girl that wants to be beautiful would want to hear that, right?
Right.
So for that to be, very early on in the movie, where she's like, but what else? Like,
what else?
What else? And he's like,
what else is? And that stuck out to me too, because as a kid, I think that line is funny now as an adult with some more self-worth. But as a kid, I was equally confused. I was like, yeah, why was she mad? I had no idea because I was like, yeah, she's gorgeous.
Right. Take the compliment and move on.
Exactly. Red flags. But seriously.
No, that's a good point. Because what's the problem with what he said?
Mm-hmm.
Right. He complimented her. But there's more to compliment. There's more to value than just
beauty.
How she looks. Yeah.
And then so she does get changed into a swan and all the stuff.
But the music. And the guy who conducts the orchestra, the old guy, is hilarious. Like the guy who, yes,
I
forget his name.
Him.
Like watching that as an adult, he made me laugh a lot.
Really?
He's such a sassy son of a bitch. I know.
Okay,
we do. That's a really good one, and that's not one I know a lot of people have seen. Yeah.
No,
early '90s film.
There was also this one part where it was just really, it was self-sacrificial. Like there was a part where she was trying to get his attention as a swan or whatever. So she flew by him or something, and like the prince is hunting. He's like out hunting, and he sees her as a swan. and like almost kills her. But like she was trying to like talk to him. I don't know. I won't go into all that.
To talk to him, and she almost got shot.
There's so many good moments in that movie,
including almost death, near-death experiences.
But maybe that's I can't talk too much about the spoilers.
What about the other characters though? The turtle and the frog and the
great side support, great side characters,
amazing side characters. Like they got sass, they got life. Like they're not just side characters.
Yeah,
they were very lively.
Yeah.
And they help her a lot.
Yes.
They do a lot of heavy lifting.
They do.
In the movie. So yeah, the side characters are pretty dope.
And the villains were pretty
unsettling.
Yeah,
the Rothbard guy and his little like mini
whoever she was.
That was weird.
Little minion.
That was a little bit weird.
That's a little weird.
But overall, it was an underrated movie. Leah wants to talk about other parts of the movie, but we're not going to because we don't want to give spoilers.
Yeah. You have to watch it.
Just watch it.
Just watch it.
So the next one we got is Land Before Time / An American Tale, because those were, I think, done by the same people.
Yep.
Land Before Time was the first movie I saw where I cried a lot because the mom dies. You know, that's how the whole story starts. She dies, and you see him having to grapple with the loss, and then they have this crazy earthquake and everything.
Yeah.
The earthquake might have happened first. Earth shake, yeah.
Yeah.
The earth shake happened first, I think.
Earth shake, yeah.
And that's partly how she died. So you see him like he's on his own. And several other kid dinosaurs are. And it's just like when he had to deal with the loss, like her saying goodbye to somebody who's like, she's dying. Like as a kid, however old we were, like that hit hard to me. That was the first movie, one of the only ones where I bawled like a baby when I saw that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were young. Like, but then I wanted to watch it again. Like I loved it. I loved being made to feel something.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like with The Land Before Time and American Tail, like they are rather deep in theme for kids' movies. So I think you would have to gauge it child per child because I feel like I saw them too young. We're only a year apart, but I feel like when I saw them,
Both of them are just the American Tail one? Because American Tail has a couple parts too. You have these, like, the wave monster and stuff like that. It's a little creepy.
It's a little scary.
A little creepy.
Land Before Time, like, there's little things, like him and the tree star. Like, why did he love the tree star? Because wasn't it something his mom gave to him? So it's like he's clinging to that. And, like, there was also a moment, like, I think it was after she died, like, oh my God. There was some of her leftover footprints.
Yeah.
And he would just sit in it.
He'd fall asleep in the footprints.
He would, fall asleep in a footprint. Like, how fucking sad. I'm tearing up.
So Leah is getting emotional.
I'm sorry. I am getting emotional.
No, but it's like, it makes you feel something. Like, it really...
Yeah, it really does. So if you want to feel like shit, if you want to feel something... No, they're beautiful stories. They're beautiful stories.
Both those movies are done by the same people. Do you have a favorite between those two?
I feel like I remember more of American Tail.
And
there's some adult humor in that too that I saw later. It was like some inappropriate, like for a kid, it went over my head.
There's this tall mouse. He's like looking at another female mouse's
and
boobs,
he's drunk.
Right?
Yeah.
It's fucking weird.
It's weird. There's some weird stuff with that. Fievel, I love and hate that movie, I would say equally, because it's like you have this little mouse family, and Fievel is like the little son, and there's like a sister and the mom and the dad, and they're in Russia, I guess, and they want to, and the dad thinks that there's no cats in America, because that's what everybody says, and all this stuff, and
boy, were they wrong, right?
They were wrong.
Oh my God. Haley, my cat, is across the room, laying down.
Baby. Fievel was an adventurous, kind of rebellious kid, and you could kind of sense the frustration that the parents had with him because he was just a little bit more defiant. Not that it was out of like a bad nature, just out of curiosity.
Would you say defiant or adventurous?
Oh, it was adventurous, but he would defy, like he would rebel. Like Five will come back and he wouldn't.
He wouldn't.
And that got him in really big, like he got lost. He was separated from his family.
Don't disobey your parents.
Yeah, but that kind of stilled, I think, that fear a little bit.
Like legitimately?
Legitimately. Like, oh my God, if you're... you could be abandoned. You could be alone and abandoned. Like, these are dark movies.
Well, those ones are. Because they're just a little, like you said, the themes are a little
heavy. So proceed with caution if you're going to watch the movie. But
so, spoiler alert, because Leah's going to talk about one part of American Tail?
I should. Yeah.
Okay. I'll include the timestamp to skip to.
And this is interesting, okay? Fievel, the little mouse, he's not around his family anymore, okay? They got separated, trying to go to America. That stinks.
Sucks to be you, kid.
But there was a scene where it's Fievel and like other orphan mice.
Yeah.
And they are awful to him. Yes. They are literally picking on him and saying that his family didn't want him. And like all that, like this is not... You make sure your child is very secure in who they are in your guys' relationship.
And that's not nice to be that way to other people.
Right, like other kids, other orphans. Yeah. We're telling this to him. Yeah. And he, oh my God, it's so sad. It's so sad.
Yeah, and then he kind of is in anger. He's like, well, fine. Like, I don't care about them either. Like, he gets mad because, you know, they're being really pessimistic, I guess. But they've also been abandoned. I guess the point is that they've been hurt, right? So they're hurting this other kid, trying to make him face reality a little bit faster because he's, you know, so naive because he thinks his family's trying to go get him. And they are. Like, there's a whole other part to the story that they're trying to look for him, but he doesn't see that.
Right.
He's alone.
Yeah. And to see that grief process, like, it's just messed up. Hearing that from other kids to another orphan kid. I feel like I saw them too young. I definitely feel like I saw Fievel way too young. American Tail.
Yeah.
I saw it way too young.
What about Flushed Away? Did you see that one too young? Oh, my God.
Flushed Away is really funny. It is so... Oh, my God.
That is so underrated.
So
and the
underrated.
Voice cast is amazing.
It's so good. It's Hugh Jackman.
Yes. Kate Winslet.
And Kate Winslet.
Ian McKellan is the Toad.
Ian McKellan is the main villain. It is so good. Oh, my gosh. It's my favorite funny animated movie.
Like, the story is unique. And, like, is it snails that are...
It's like slugs.
Slugs that sing, like, don't worry, be happy.
Oh, my God.
And, like, they have this amazing arrangement as they're, like, going in the sewers.
Again, the music is really good.
Yeah. We didn't touch on that for the last two movies, but I would say the music is good. It's, like, the score is really good.
It's like kids' dramas.
Yeah.
It's like animated kids' dramas.
Yeah. And despite them being cartoon characters, it still hits you in the feels.
Yeah. No, but Flushed Away, so funny. And the voice acting is brilliant. The writing is hilarious. It's just so funny. Definitely recommend that for, I don't know.
For any age. That one's funny. Yeah. I saw it again in college and was like, damn, this is a really good movie. Like,
so funny.
Yeah. 100%.
10 out of 10.
Another one that I think is really funny. And actually, I never cried while watching this movie as a child. But when I saw it as an adult, when I saw it on an airplane, just for shits and giggles, I actually got teary-eyed watching this movie, and that movie is Robots.
You cried?
Yes. No,
why?
Because, you know, the dad is trying to encourage him to pursue his dreams, and then the person who has inspired him to see a need, fill a need, which is the main kind of theme of that movie, the very person who inspired him, his hero, is no longer seeing a need and filling a need. He's alone by himself and not doing the world any good anymore. He's not giving to the world. And his devastation with that, and I think feeling lost was what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, it just hit me different as an adult because he's also alone in a city. His parents have, like, that's what it was, I think, was they were like, you know, how you met Big Weld? Like, how'd that go? And he's depressed because it didn't go well. Like, it was anything but he wanted it to be.
Right.
I'm not saying it stays that way, but it's a really good piece because he grew up being inspired by somebody who no longer walked their talk. And he was doing so much good because of that person. That person inspired him to do a lot of good. But not only does it have that message in a way about pursuing your dreams or the things that you envision you can build and give to the world, but my God, Robin Williams is in it.
Oh, Robin
His
Williams.
voice,
his everything, man.
Like, there's... I'm singing in the... I'm dancing in the oil. Remember that?
I'm singing in the oil.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. And something interesting about that whole moment with his hero, the main protagonist.
Yeah.
Hero.
Robbie, I think.
Rob. Is it Robbie? What's his name? I don't know. I Can't remember.
Ewan McGregor's character.
Yeah. But how you can look up to somebody and be inspired to do that thing that they do and to help other people. But your hero can change, and they can change for the worse. And that's...
And that doesn't mean that you have to either.
Right.
Like, just because they do, you can still make your own choices to correct things that they won't correct anymore or won't give attention to anymore.
Right. Yeah. People let you down.
Yes, they do. But the other thing, though, is that he's surrounded by a bit of an adopted family. Along with Robin Williams' character, you have other robots who are very much supportive of him and love him.
That was
Rodney.
That was his name.
The main character's name was Rodney. Leah just remembered it. Rodney Copperbottom.
Yeah, I forgot.
Copperbottom.
All right, you were talking about the adopted family.
Yeah, but he is surrounded by other younger robots that just love him and want him to help the other people in their community because everyone's needing help.
Yeah.
They need parts fixed.
They're quite literally falling apart.
And they can't afford, the new parts or the new bodies or whatever it is that they're trying to sell.
Yeah.
They can't afford the new iPhone.
Basically.
There's a lot of good in it. And the evil villains are pretty
They're
crazy
really
too.
funny.
They are. They're
really funny. It was a great balance of like, oh, that's a bad guy, but like really, really funny. It struck a really good balance, I thought.
I did. And the music. 10 out of 10. The score is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of his last animated movies, probably. Robin Williams. I mean, honestly, because...
It might have been. I don't remember. I don't remember if he did anything after the 2000s.
Aladdin.
Yeah.
Did you know that he didn't want to be marketed for Aladdin? And that's why he never did anything for Disney anymore, because he was like, I'll do this, but don't use me as like a marketing. Like, I don't want to be used in that way. It was something interesting. And they ended up doing it anyway. That's why he didn't do Aladdin 2 and 3. That's why he didn't do the other Aladdin movies, is because he
didn't do the other ones at all?
No, because Disney didn't keep their agreement. Something like that.
I don't know. I would have made a different agreement if I knew I had to use that for marketing. Because, I mean, he carries that movie.
Yeah, he does.
Next up is one of my favorite kids' movies of all time, Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yes.
It was one of the more grown-up films that I saw as a kid.
Yeah, kid drama.
It's a kid drama, but its themes are a little bit more deep, and the villain is dark. Like, we're getting into actually evil territory.
And feminine dark.
Feminine dark, yeah. Not that all females in that film are dark or evil or less than, because you have other female protagonists who kick ass and who are heroes. Like, all 4 of those kids are heroes.
All kids.
Yeah, all kids. All 4 of those kids. And I mean, my God, growing up, and you have Peter Pevensey and Edmund Pevensey and Mr. Tumnus as, like, childhood crushes. Like, goddamn.
Oh, my gosh.
And then later on, the second one, Prince Caspian.
Oh, yes.
No, I had the biggest crushes on some of these guys. But that aside, the movies are actually really good. The CGI, I think, is still really good.
Really carries. It still holds.
Again, especially for being in the early 2000s and being a kids movie. The quality, the music.
Oh, my God. Who did the music for that?
Harry Gregson Williams.
I've never heard.
He's done some other stuff.
He did Shrek, right? No, that was the same director. Same director who did Narnia did Shrek.
Yes.
How weird is that? Very different movies.
So Harry did Shrek, he did Narnia, and he did the Tigger movie.
The Tigger movie, that has to make it to the list.
And he did Flushed Away.
Get out of town. He did Flushed Away?
I'm not even shitting you.
Oh my God.
So that makes sense.
That does make sense. Oh my God, the Tigger movie. That's got to make it. If you feel lost and hungry.
That's Kenny Loggins.
I'm messing up on this.
From home.
Oh my God, what is that? Oh, that was...
It's Haley. But the Tigger movie.
Tigger movie.
What do you remember about that one?
It's a whole thing on identity, and because you don't have a family
that looks like you,
that you don't belong. And it's such a powerful, oh my gosh, concept. It's so good and was so original, I feel like. But the thing that he realizes, his family, Winnie the Pooh and Piglet
And Roo.
They're all his family and they all love him, and it doesn't mean you have to look the same. It's a beautiful film. It's so beautiful. But I can also appreciate how Tigger's looking so fervently for a family. Where he came from.
Yeah.
Where he came from. Where did I come from? And that's such a...
relatable
question.
So then before we get to our final movie, we had a few honorable mentions.
I'll let you talk about that one.
Okay.
You were in love with that movie. Kind of like how I was...
in love with the B movie?
Yeah, which was a weird time in my life, okay? We don't talk about
this should happen. This is for real. Okay. So one of the movies that we included as an honorable mention is the 2003 made-for-TV film, A Wrinkle in Time. This was one of the trippiest things I've ever seen.
It was.
But oh my God, the lead character kind of looked how I looked when I was growing up. Like, she had this messy bun and that's all she wore. She had like a sweatshirt and she had brown hair and she was kind of basic looking.
Oh my God.
But she was like
tomboy. She was a tomboy.
She was 100% a tomboy, and she was so protective of her younger sibling.
Her little brother.
Yes. I mean, super protective of him. And so I was like 12 when we saw that. And I don't know. I just really loved it. I mean, it was cheesy. Like, we all like were aware of like the cheese, the CGI.
The CGI was bad. But I mean, if the CGI was better.
If it was, it would have been pretty amazing.
That was probably the most like awkward thing about it was just the CGI. Like the story and stuff overall. It was just interesting. It needed to be polished a little bit.
Oh, of course. No, I must say there was cheese involved. But
there was cheese.
But in the same way, Twilight, hate me if you hate me, but there's some cheese in those movies. Like,
oh yeah.
So if you know you're gonna watch it with that expectation, it's a good experience because that's what your expectation is going into it. So it is not as high quality as like Narnia or anything,
right?
But it was fun to watch at 12, like it was. So, and again, I think it's because I just saw myself a little bit in the lead character, and I hadn't seen a teen girl portrayed the same way before. She just wasn't trying so hard. Like, she was very kind of quiet and she liked her music. And of course, the boy that was into her was cute, but like...
But she would also like prioritize her little brother.
She did, exactly. She was like, and he kind of understood her prioritization of her family.
Yeah.
So the other two honorable mentions.
Yeah.
You want to take on...
Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, so funny. It was so good. And we loved Scooby-Doo growing up.
Oh.
It was probably the most rebellious cartoon that we were allowed to watch because we were so sheltered because there had ghosts and haunted stuff. And when we went to Christian school, kids be like, "You're allowed to watch that?" And we'd be like, "Yeah." But then they would be like, "Are you allowed to watch High School Musical?" We'd be like, "No." So it was just...
I'll say this. At one point, one of my friend's moms was really upset.
Really upset.
Like mad with my parents' parenting choices, I guess, that I was allowed to see Harry Potter growing up and that I wasn't allowed to see Twilight. And I was watching Harry Potter. This is like 6th, 7th grade.
Yeah.
And this woman was so upset that I had seen Harry Potter because of the witchcraft element. Whereas my parents' argument about Twilight was, well, what about the sexual stuff in Twilight? And how that's arguably more real life than any of the magic in Harry Potter is supposed to be. And there is a clear definition between using the magic for good and using it for evil, just as there's magic in fucking Narnia. Like,
right.
It's the same thing. Like, there's good magic and there's bad magic. So it's like, just because it contained witchcraft to some degree, it was like such a no-no.
But Twilight is about vampires.
Mm-hmm.
How bad is that?
It's about being undead and
How
not going to any eternal life. I don't know. And that's why,
That's
don't care
so
anymore.
Dumb.
It is. It was weird. But she was like, it was weird, man. Again, like a self-righteousness because she's only allowing her kid to watch one set of movies and that's better than the other ones. Like morally better. That's some toxic shit right there.
Yeah, it is.
So back to the thing at hand, Scooby-Doo, because of the hauntedness and stuff of Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. It was so funny. Just really lighthearted and a great story for Scooby-Doo. It was just an original concept on the already loved idea of solving mysteries and stuff. They had to basically team up with other versions of themselves, like within a computer game. It was just really, really fun.
Yeah.
Really great movie. 10 out of 10 for all kinds of kids.
And then this other one that you put on the list, which you said you didn't see as a child.
No, this is a kid show that I've seen in my adulthood, and I think it's so cute and completely underrated. But it's called Ron's Gone Wrong, and it's so like I was laughing my butt off during this movie. Like consistently. It was so funny. The concept is talking on technology and how these kids can get these robots that like will help them make friends and help them get a social life.
Oh.
And you're like unpopular if you don't have one. And so this kid who's like socially awkward and stuff, he's the only one in his class who doesn't have one of these adorable robots. And he gets one for his birthday, but it's one that's basically bought off the black market. Like it doesn't, it's got malfunctions. It's got some things wrong with it. And the whole slogan for these robots is that they're your best friend out of the box. And so his has got issues with it and he just like wants to return it. And like the robot's like, but I thought like I was your best friend. Like just it's really funny. It's so wholesome. Because this robot isn't like the other ones, it doesn't have like a lot of safety features and stuff. Like it protects the socially awkward kid.
Right. It goes to great lengths.
It goes to great lengths to really be a friend and not just get him likes on Instagram, essentially.
Okay.
Which is the whole premise of the story, is that the robot is actually a friend. It's just really sweet. It's a great movie. I love it.
That's
funny.
sweet.
Yeah.
So that's Ron's Gone Wrong?
Yes. I think made in 2021. Like it's a very recent movie. Yeah.
Cute. Last but not least,
probably our favorite movie together from our childhood.
Yes.
And the first movie we ever saw in theaters as kids.
Yes.
Do we say it at the same time?
Sure.
Okay.
Spirit.
Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron.
Yes.
Am I saying that right? Cimarron?
I think so.
I hope.
I still don't fully know what that word means.
No.
But it sounds like cinnamon.
It does. And Hans Zimmer did the music. The music is amazing in the movie. It's an amazing movie.
And the amazing thing is that the characters don't even talk.
They don't talk at all.
At all. You have voiceovers that are narrating what the main character is thinking.
Yep.
But you never really have characters that are talking. Like you don't have horses that move their mouth and are speaking. It's very much like focused on their facial expressions that the animators did. It's focused on the music and how that's making you feel.
Yep.
And focused on whatever narrations exist for a certain scene. It's amazing they pulled it off and it was as captivating as it was.
Mm-hmm.
There was no funny voices carrying the character or something.
And I would say it's a drama, but it's very light. It's nothing like Land Before Time, Fievel, and not nearly as heavy as Narnia, but it's like a drama to that sense. It's not a comedy.
No. And I would say some people might already be familiar with Spirit because of the Netflix animated show. That's not the same thing.
No.
Like, that's a dumbed down version of what I'm talking about, and it kind of pisses me off.
It's a dumbed down version of our childhood.
It's like, like, I guess they had to make money where they can make it, but this is what inspired that whole thing later on, and that was like over a decade after it existed. That show came on. The music is amazing, and we were young when we saw it, and we didn't need much to be absolutely captivated by this movie. Mesmerized.
It was so great. There was so much to the characters, and you understood exactly what was going on.
Yeah, there was no ambiguity.
There's no ambiguity for a movie with essentially no talking, and to understand exactly what was going on as like under 4, it was just amazing. And the animation was really good.
It was.
It was.
Yes.
Gosh.
No, that was one of our favorite movies ever as a kid.
Honestly, it probably contributed a lot to our music taste, the way that we listen to music, our love for epic music.
And even Swan Princess.
And Swan Princess. And I think that's why...
Yeah, because we were really drawn to some of these movies where the music was a really good component in the movie. Like, they did not cheapen the music at all.
Nope.
So, even those Barbie movies.
really consistent with all the movies, including
Yes.
Fievel and Land Before Time. Like, the music was good.
Yes.
Somewhere out there. Like, oh my God.
But in the case of Spirit, the music is almost very much a character. Like, it's very much... You have Bryan Adams also singing the songs that were written for that movie, and even a duet with Sarah McLachlan for the credits.
And that one's a little...
It's a little spicy.
A little spicy, that song.
But beautiful, gorgeous song.
Yeah, gorgeous song.
And then Hans Zimmer's score. I can't believe it didn't get more credit for how good the music really was, how good the movie really was.
Yeah. It was overshadowed by Shrek, which I
understand. Like, that's a great movie, but they achieved a lot of interesting things with this movie.
Yeah. Without saying a word, really.
Yeah. The only people who talked were real-life people, like humans, in the movie, who were also characters and were talking amongst themselves or maybe to the horse, but it's not like the horse was responding. It was very much, whatever you hear is just the voice inside his head, but the horse himself is not speaking.
Right.
Really
I
cool.
loved how they made a point to not do that.
Yeah, because that would have made it so much easier.
You would. And unrealistic. So good. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. So we hope you enjoyed this eclectic mix of underrated kids movies.
Yeah, I hope that it helps because we're early on doing this podcast, and I hope it helps you to know us a bit better and why we are the way that we are to a certain degree.
Basically, the way that we are is because of these movies.
Basically. Sometimes I feel like stuff hits me deeply, like some of these kids movies, and I think that's why, is that I watched some of these kids movies too early. But I hope you guys had fun, and maybe go watch a movie.
Some of them. Yes. We've also talked about doing an episode on movies and music that bring us to specific memories or that jog particular feelings and emotions. So that'll probably be another episode later down the line. But thank you guys for checking this out.
Yeah.
And before we sign off,
we love you.
We're rooting for you.
And you matter.
Bye.
Bye.